Burnout isn't just about working too much. It can live in the body, the mind, our hormones can fuel it, and even the soul. In this piece, I explore the four phases of burnout: physical, psychological, adrenal, and misalignment, and how each one shows up in our lives. I call it the four faces of burnout. So, burnout. Burnout isn't just about doing too much. It's not just something that happens to people who hate their jobs or work 100 hours a week. Burnout wears many faces, and some of them are deeply misunderstood. In my work as both a chef and now as a coach in helping profession, I come to see burnout not just as exhaustion, but as a signal, a message from the body, the mind, and the soul that something needs to change. Here are the four kinds of burnout I've personally experienced and that I've seen over and over again in the people I work with. The first is physical burnout. Physical burnout is the kind most people recognize first. It's raw, unfiltered exhaustion. Sometimes it can be fixed with a vacation or a few good nights of sleep, but other times it's not that simple. It's common in high achievers, the ones who love what they do and forget the rest. But it also affects the people who don't love their work, those who push through because they have no choice, even when their body is screaming for a break. Eventually, the body stops asking politely and it yells, "Stop, would you?" And if you don't, it just might stop for you. I learned this one the hard way. Back when I was working as a chef during the restaurant opening, I could go for days, weeks, with barely any pause. I loved the work. But then my body started to misfire. I experienced strange migrating pains, collapsing randomly. I ended up in the ER more than once, in fact. Each time the doctors ran tests, found nothing, and sent me home. But on the third visit, a new doctor sat down and asked me about my lifestyle. I said, "So, what do you do for a living?" Told him I was a chef, and he smirked. I'll never forget. I guess he had seen a few of my sort in his office before. He asked, "So, when was the last day off?" I thought about it and I had realized I actually wasn't sure. I hadn't taken a single day off in nearly 3 months. I was working 20-hour days. The doctor said to me, most people actually take 2 days off a week. And he was right. I needed the break. So what was the prescription? Well, actually, a full week he gave me. I only took a couple days, but I'll tell you, I slept them the whole way through. Psychological burnout is the next one I want to talk about. Different, but not separate from physical burnout, is psychological. This is the kind of burnout that lives in the mind and heart. It's mental and emotional exhaustion. It's compassion fatigue for some. It's the toll of holding space, navigating other people's needs, and constantly pushing down your own. It's especially common in helping professions: nurses, counselors, social workers, coaches. Ironically, it's not always society that ignores this kind of burnout. It's the professionals themselves, the ones who should know better. Trust me, I'm saying this from experience. Even after surviving physical burnout and studying burnout during my counseling education, I didn't recognize it in myself. I assumed I had the tools, that I was resilient, that I knew better. But it snuck up on me anyway. As a chef, I could grind out 16-hour days for weeks. But now, as a helper, just a few emotionally intense 5-hour days left me wiped out. That's compassion fatigue. And because I had the skills, I convinced myself I could handle it. Until once again, I hit a wall. My system hit the brakes and said, enough! Psychological burnout, like physical burnout, can sometimes be eased with rest, but more often needs deeper support, consistent intentional self care, real boundaries, and trusted external support like a counselor, coach, community, a space to breathe. There's another form of burnout, another face, if you will, that gets overlooked. One that shows up through the body's hormones and stress responses. This is sometimes called adrenal fatigue. To understand it, we need to take a quick look at the endocrine system, the body's second control system. It's made up of glands that release hormones which regulate growth, energy, sleep, metabolism, reproduction, and overall balance. Among them are the adrenal glands, which play a key role in the stress and recovery. The adrenal glands release cortisol, often called the stress hormone. In healthy amounts, cortisol helps us adapt. It fuels our fight or flight system, regulates metabolism, influences sleep cycles, and helps the immune system do its job. Imagine you're face to face with a saber-toothed tiger. Your system immediately kicks into gear, pumping cortisol, rerouting blood and energy to your limbs so that you can fight or run. In this case, perhaps running is better. Once the danger passes, cortisol levels drop and the body returns to balance. The trouble today is most of us don't face actual tigers. We face modern tigers, prolonged exposures to life stressors from things like our boss's bills, inboxes, deadlines, the pressure of doing it all. These aren't quick sprints of stress. They're chronic daily activations and triggers. And when cortisol is released in excess, day after day, it prevents the body from returning to homeostasis, a place of normal balance. Other glands begin to suffer. The pineal gland, which helps regulate sleep, the pancreas, which manages digestion and blood sugar, the thyroid, which influences energy and weight. The result? Anxiety, irritability, disrupted sleep, digestive issues, energy crashes, and yes, these are all sounding familiar. They're all burnout. So what can help? The obvious answer would be, to slay the saber-tooth tiger. But for most of us, it isn't realistic. The better approach is to learn how to invite calm back into the system and support the body's natural rhythms. That might look like calming the sympathetic system through meditation and breath work, nourishing the body through proper diet, hydration, and so forth. Balancing energy by reducing sugar spikes, keeping regular meal times. Ultimately, adrenal fatigue, burnout is the body saying, I can't keep running from tigers that never leave. The last kind or face of burnout is the one I think we talk about the least, but may be the most common of all. I call this misalignment burnout. It feels just like the others: exhaustion, numbness, disconnection. You might be sleeping but never feel rested. You might have a good life on paper, yet feel like something is deeply off. If the first three live in the body and mind, this one lives in the soul. It's rooted in axiology, our values, and existentialism, our search for meaning. Misalignment burnout happens when you've drifted far from your path, when your values no longer guiding your choices and you're living a life that doesn't feel like it's yours anymore. Maybe you're crossing your own boundaries. Maybe you're chasing someone else's definition of success. Maybe you're trying to be who you think you should be rather than who you are. Let me offer a metaphor. Imagine your life is a path, a trail that's uniquely yours. When you're on it, things feel aligned. Your values are like markers, always just ahead, gently showing you the way. But life happens. Other paths appear, and sometimes you veer off. Maybe it's a path someone else laid out for you. Maybe it's the one you thought you had to follow. Maybe you tried to carve a brand new one from scratch out of fear, ambition, or just confusion. At first, it's fine, but soon the path gets rough. You're exhausted, stumbling through the undergrowth, hacking and whacking away at a trail that doesn't feel right. Your values, the markers of your path, are often in the distance waving and calling out like, "Hey, we're over here." And you shout back like, "Shut up, I know what I'm doing. I got this." Been there myself. Eventually though, you fall. You look around and at the life that you've built and realize this isn't you. This isn't the path you were meant to walk. But there is good news. There's always a way back. Even if you've gone off course, even if you've been in the thicket for years, even if you've convinced yourself it's too late, you can still pause, look back, reconnect with your values, and begin slowly to return to yourself. The detour hasn't wasted. You've learned from it. You're now carrying the wisdom forward. Burnout isn't just about working too much. It's about disconnection from the body, the heart, the hormones, and soul. If you're feeling tired in ways that rest can't fix, you're not broken. You're not lazy. You might just be burnt out, and in more ways than just one. Remember, the journey is long and it can be messy at times. And you're not alone, so dare to mess it up and dare to fail forward. Until next time, ciao!